How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Fourever Arsenal podcast. It's the morning after the night before Champions League Group Game 4, and it's another win in the bag. Home and away against Sevilla, ticked off, and it's a 2-0 win. We're going to get into it all. We're going to discuss it. Lead judges dancing in the bottom right. I'm sure you already know why already.
Cream, get on top, cream. Always rises, boys. Always rises. Remember that.
All right. Game week 12, game week 11. Let's calm down now. Yeah.
You're like a Spurs fan. Celebrating after like 10, 11 games. It's a long season. It's a very long season. Oh, sorry. Jordan
said in 3 minutes, if you can't give me my hot drink, that'll be perfect timing.
Sorry, she's gone now. Sorry.
No, don't say sorry. It's the better. I reckon she should come on you.
She talks more sense to me, to be fair. So yeah, she probably is.
Said it. I tell you what, there are better comments to say.
It's a low bar, though. It's a low bar. So.
No, that's harsh.
Under 2 minutes in, we've probably got a record amount of comments already. I can't remember that moment there. So.
Does she watch football?
With me, yeah. So,
does she actually watch football?
No, she's not into football now.
So at the very least, we know she would never compare Havertz to Saka.
At the very least.
Like we know we get that.
Some uncomfortable conversations coming up, tough decisions to make moving forward.
Listen, leave her alone. Yeah, she's a big fan of yours, Jane. By the way, she likes you. She's like, oh, James is my favourite.
I'll tell you what, I've got right off her straight away. She likes James, and she's living with Jordan like that.
There's something wrong with her.
There's something wrong with her.
Anyway, let's go to the game.
Anyway, we're gonna get into that all anyway while he's dancing. I'm sure you know why. A couple of interesting stories from fans of the show, supporters of the show at the ground yesterday. We were just talking off air. And I wasn't late. 8 a.m. show, I wasn't late. Yet again, I've got a clean record since the last time it was unclean.
Can you believe this bloke? You know what I mean?
17 murders and he's not killed anyone for a year. It's clean record. I've turned
my life around.
Angelic.
And the award for the best timekeeper goes to Turkish. Well done, sir.
Now I put my alarm on. I put my phone outside my door, and I go to sleep. So I have to hear my alarm and get out of bed. And here I am. No dot points for 11 weeks. People, hit the like button if you're with me. It's only game week 11 anyway. We're gonna get into the prediction table stuff. Jordan, Lee, James, as you can see, back in the building. We're gonna discuss the Sevilla win and the Burnley game coming up this weekend, this international break after. So you know what that means. That means next week we'll do a review pod, and then we'll be back the week after to preview the next upcoming game in the league. But before all that, let's get into it. Lee, you was there, so talk to me. I mean,
yes. Before we start, got to give out the girls from Northwest London a shout. Like, you know, the 3 girls that I met yesterday, lovely girls, lovely looking as well. Like, I felt like I was in a boy band last night. I tell you, like, you know what I mean? It was fantastic. But yeah, big shout out to them.
Did they watch the show?
Did
they watch the show?
Yes, they're big followers of the show, and you know, like the only reason they're getting a mention because they said I'm their favourite, so that's it. They know how to get a mention, these girls, you know. So that was that.
Don't say anything to your face.
I didn't ask the fella's name yesterday, but he came up to me and he said, "Oh, brilliant! You're top of the league," and he goes, "The best thing that can happen there if his Turkish doesn't turn up." I said, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. Like, you know? And I thought I was wishing that when I got up this morning, the message weren't going to be there, but it was there. And
what's that tosser's name? Shout that tosser out, please.
His name wasn't Mr. Tosser. I know that. Like,
no, that's what it is. Until you see him again, I'm going to ask, have you met that tosser again? You hope that.
I will do. Like, you know
they're preying on your downfall, Turkish. That's unbelievable.
I know. What's going on?
But it was great. It was great last night that people were coming up to me and going, "I'm like, at least 4 people, which is fantastic, really. Saying not worried so much 2-0 win against Arsenal. You're top of the league in the Fourever Arsenal, which was really good. Not that I needed reminding, but like there you go. So
I did. I was on the watch along, having a nice evening,
Yeah.
enjoying it. 2-0, comfortable win. Man United had just gone 4-3 behind. Life was good. And then Turkish Ankas from off screen reminded me you went for 2-0. And suddenly I just kind of lost purpose,
I had a little look at the watch along last night just to see when it went 2-0 and I was quite happy, but I'm thinking to themselves, they don't know yet.
Well, look, since we're on the subject, usually we do at the end the prediction table this week. If you're on audio platform, there it is.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
And let's get into Sevilla.
That was good. Yeah,
yeah,
good,
nice.
Comprehensive look.
Yeah,
a lot of your alarm clocks, wasn't it? Not very good. But listen, I'm going to be really honest. Going back to the second most important thing of the evening, of the game, I think we needed that. Really.
Well, hang on. You know that your result doesn't happen unless the game happens, Lee.
Yes. But I was buzzing. I must admit, I was buzzing. That 2-0. I said to my mate, when Kai Havertz got that, I said, "Go on, Kai, go on." When it went out, I went, "Oh, lucky Kai! It's just not happening for you, mate, is it?"
It's not happening for you, mate, is it?
You probably gave him a 9 out of 10.
I said, he knows. He's a Fourever Arsenal fan. He knows. I'm going to say I wasn't down. I just wasn't. What happened at the weekend, and I was just really like a little bit. I don't know about the football at that time. I was even on the starting 11 show yesterday. I wasn't feeling it. The actual game and all that. Even though we've had a couple of good results, which weren't nothing to do with us, with Spurs losing and Newcastle and all that. I just needed Arsenal to just do something like a good performance or something. Get me going again. Get me my juices flowing for the Arsenal again. And they did last night because it was a thoroughly fantastic professional performance. Forget about the result. Everything that you wanted was there. Good clean sheet, defensively played really well. The wide players, I think that's what I was probably a little bit down with because on Saturday they never looked to go past their man once. Yesterday they just done it every single time. It was that like we're proving everything that we're going to do that. Whether that was a tactic on Saturday, I don't know. I just thought we was in total control of the game.
I think there was a quote from Martinelli. Sorry, I think there was a quote from Martinelli saying that Arteta told them to have a go.
Yeah, so I think that probably there was something said about that. But the best thing about it, everything for me was like I've watched Arsenal over this last year, and James has mentioned it as well. It was free-flowing football last season, but we did give the other teams 3 or 4 good chances a game. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, David Ray, or whatever you want to call him, I know he's not my mate. Anyway, he didn't have nothing to do, no chances or anything really, and I have to say that's the biggest improvement of the team. Even when we went up to Newcastle last year, had a fantastic result. They missed a couple of really chances, but yesterday I thought it was a thoroughly fantastic performance defensively and all that. And the guys that come in steps up. Trossard steps up. Good finish for the goal, Shinchenko come on for Tomiyasu. I think afterwards it was revealed that he did pick up a slight knock. Come in and done really, really well yesterday. It was like something, whether that what he'd said, Arteta, had galvanised the team as well. I just thought it was a very, very good performance. And at the end of it, I'm now buzzing for Saturday, which I wasn't buzzing for for Wednesday. Do you know what I'm saying? So all in all, Arsenal were fantastic last night. Professional job done.
What was the Martinelli quotes, James? Because it's interesting that he says Arteta said have a go. Does that mean that
you find the exact one
that the handbrake has been on in some way, shape, or form?
Let me see. Let me make sure I didn't dream it. Martin,
mind you, how good was he yesterday? or
That
was
was
the defender
that
so
was
bad? He
Martinelli.
just skinned him
Right.
every single time.
So in an interview, this quote, this week especially, Arteta has asked to me and Bakaya to be more direct and told us to believe more in ourselves, brackets 1v1 situations, and today it worked out. So it looks like it was an interview with, I don't know, some broadcaster covering the Champions League. Obviously, I can't play it out loud right now. From TNT Sports Brazil, this was.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So that kind of more puts it back on them then, if it's be more confident to go on your one-on-ones.
Well, Reece Nelson said in an interview himself, I think it was Reece Nelson, forgive me if I'm wrong, said, Arteta tells his wingers to get on the pitch and run at that fullback. And I think Arteta's style has always been compared to Pep, and there are similarities in the build-up and the shape at times and the principles. But I do think the one difference is where Pep's wingers seem to, especially in the last 2 years, seem to be about ball retention and working space and angles and movement. Every winger you hear from Arsenal happens to say that Arteta doesn't mind if we lose the ball as long as we're taking on that fullback and we're giving it a real go. And I didn't know whether Saka and Martinelli were just playing like unbelievably last night, or whether their fullbacks were crap. It's probably both. Like, they were brilliant, but also, oh my word, they absolutely destroyed it. Both sides, And sometimes the centre back came across and got torn apart by Saka. 3 fouls, didn't pick up a booking, I don't think. So yeah, they were on fire.
There wasn't. And the thing about Martinelli, he just kept on going on the outside. Usually a winger might, go inside a couple of times to, confuse the defender. Nah, he basically said to the defender, I'm going outside every single time and you're not going to stop me. And he didn't get stopped. I only remember him getting caught up maybe twice. And he gave it a good goal throughout the 90 minutes. But Saka too.
I thought his positioning was better. Like, when he received the ball, there looked space to attack. Now, either Sevilla didn't defend it well, didn't double up, didn't get the numbers across, whatever. But he seemed to get the ball and just go, and there was space. Like, it wasn't surprising me that he was taking them on. And I don't remember feeling that against Newcastle. I don't remember feeling like they were missing obvious opportunities to run into space. But I don't know, maybe that's just when you see it pulled off, you start believing that it's there.
Yeah, I think Sevilla, I'm not too sure why Sevilla was so heavily rotated, but whoever was on that pitch, they didn't really turn up anyway, because they didn't pose much of a threat, if anything. They just had that one moment and a half that, if anything came of it, probably would have been a foul on Saliba leading up to it. So aside from that, the space that we had, we'll talk about the positives first, because I still think in the midfield, through the middle, we had an opportunity there, especially for Kai Havertz to take the game by the scruff of the neck and become some sort of a creative force for us. And we didn't see that. Martinelli and Saka, we did. And I said on my fan cam, Jordan, that's probably the best we've seen them together for a long time.
This season, for sure. I thought the boys were brilliant. I think, as Lee and James have said, this was Saka and Martinelli at their best. But I think, without putting too much of a negative on it, I think, as James has kind of mentioned, they were really poor, and the rotation that they employed with their lineup. I think, am I right in saying they're struggling in La Liga at the moment?
Yeah,
they are. So I reckon they probably sacked off the Champions League and just thought their next league game is probably more important. We're going to Arsenal. They're top 4 in their league. We're not going to win there, so we'll put out a weakened team, which is not our business. That's their problem. So we handled our business and did what we had to do, and the guys took advantage of that. But I just wonder, I can't help but think to myself, have we beaten a team this year playing well that has also played well against us? I'm not sure we've beaten a team that's played well against us, and that is something that is not a big issue for now, but at some point in the season we're going to have to play well and win a game against a team that also plays well. Do you know what I mean? The Spurs game, Spurs played well, we couldn't beat them. Chelsea played well, couldn't beat them. PSV maybe, but I thought they were quite open. I thought they were quite naive. I mean, we handled them and we dispatched them with ease, but I think they were very, very naive. And I just think, whilst we were brilliant last night, I think we have to also mention that the opposition were not very, very good, which massively helped us. But listen, we're virtually through now. I wanted to qualify out this group as soon as possible. Another point, and we're through. And to your Kai Havertz point as well, I'm disappointed in the fact that he didn't get involved in the action as well. In terms of this was the game, I agree that he could have grabbed that a home game, fans behind him, team attacking really well. This was a game where Kai Havertz needed to really step up and really announce himself. And I'm getting more and more concerned now that he hasn't and that he's not. There was a header that he headed into the ground that went wide, and I just thought, this is a guy that at times looks like me. He looks like a player that's not a professional. Like, and I'm not even on
the pitch. We mean you on the podcast.
Hey, one day is Kaka, one day is Jordan. Fucking hell.
Who can tell the difference? I just feel he looks like a player that's not a professional at times. He looks like a guy that genuinely, I think it's more than confidence now. He's obviously a professional football player. He's obviously got talent. But there are times I watch him, and it's often, I'm not going to lie, where I think to myself, you look like an amateur. Your touch, your movement, your reactions look like they're really amateur. And it's really, really worrying now. It's I don't know. We're getting away with it at the moment because we're getting away with it. But second half of the season, when it really matters, I'm really concerned about his appearances in our 11. But I don't want to put too much of a downer on the performance because I think overall it was good. Jorginho was brilliant. That pass for the first goal. He's taken out 3 players. He's taken out 3 players.
And a run from Saka as well deserves a mention.
Oh, it was brilliant.
It was perfect.
It was brilliant. So overall, great. It was great to see our wingers get back to their best. But my only slight caveat is we need to now perform like that against a good team.
Fair.
Yeah.
There's a few good teams to play for the rest of the season. It's still very early, so we will find out. Lee, Trossard gets a goal, starts up front. Obviously, Eddie's now injured or seems to have picked up something light. I think he might be available for the next game. But Trossard started. Trossard scored. Didn't exactly set the world alight, but what was the mood like in the stadium with him up top? And
exactly that. We was actually talking on a train on the way home. Like, he didn't set the world alight, but all of a sudden the fullbacks played really, really well. Is that coincidence or is that because he's in the team? I don't know. That was what we were sort of saying. The movement. What I liked about yesterday, even though the both wingers were, causing mayhem down the flanks, they still interchange. There were still times when I see Trossard in on the flank and Martinelli down the middle. I just felt that they were involved more, and I think because of what he brings to the table, I felt that he done okay, nothing spectacular, but the moment that he took his chance and he took his goal, and it was I'll tell you what, it was a fantastic move, as you said, but it still had to be finished. I've seen a lot of times them hit the goalkeeper or whatever, so a good finish. I thought he done okay. I wouldn't say I was blown away with what he'd done. If Saka is injured now, it means probably he'll have to go out wide and Kai Havertz has to come down the centre if Eddie's not fit. But I was quite pleased with him. Going back to Kai Havertz, I didn't think he was bad yesterday. Like I didn't think I thought he done all right yesterday. Some of it, he was just unlucky at the end there. What I don't like is Mikel coming out and saying, "Oh, he's been our best player in the last couple of games. He's done this and he's done that." Trying to justify what he's been doing. Just let him get on with it at this moment in time. I don't think he'd done anything wrong to say, "Oh, he was really, really bad yesterday." I get what Jordan's saying at times there. I just think that if that header goes in the first minute, a confidence player probably scores that. Do you know what I'm saying? But he is a professional footballer, just lacking in confidence, and I find that hard to believe at times. But it's definitely happening.
But Lee, my only concern is that, and listen, I'm the one that tried to justify the signing by trying to put myself in the head of Arteta and comparing him through Arteta to Kaka. So no one's defended Kaka more than me. Trust me. But
don't call him Kaka again, man.
I didn't call him Kaka.
You just said no one's defended Kaka like me.
Oh, sorry. Havertz.
He meant Kai.
Kai, yeah. Kai, yeah. But my point being is that how long do we keep saying confidence? At some point, this can't be just confidence.
No, and I agree, and he's, he was
and that
very
was the game to get your confidence.
Yeah, exactly. And Burnley's got to be it for me now. Like, I mean, I expect to see Kai Havertz show. Like, he was unlucky with the one that he shot, just went wide. He cut inside and shot. Listen, it's just not quite happening for him. He needs a goal, and I was desperate for him to score yesterday. Like, I like the way he puts himself about. I've got to say that I think he's been criticised by Chelsea fans for doing that. That's the one thing that he has done for us. He's done it again last night. There's times, I don't know if you notice it, but he runs into players, he gives them a bash, you know what I mean? He quite upsets the apple cart in that. I quite like that, I'm not going to lie. But he's just got to now start stamping his authority on some sort of games. And Mikel coming out and keep saying, oh, yeah, he was fantastic. I think that sort of tells you everything that, the manager is having to try and justify him to start him, which I don't think he should be doing. But listen, I think that in the last three or four games, I think he started every one now, and he has looked a little bit better. I know people are going to go, well, but listen, he needs to now push on. He really, really does need to push on.
Just finally on Havertz, you say there, Lee, that he needs a goal. I'm not even convinced. There are sometimes a player, you kind of get the sense that if they score a goal, that's going to help their trajectory. I'm not necessarily convinced that even if Havertz scores a goal, that's going to trigger anything. And I don't even necessarily need a goal from him. I just need some performances. Yeah. He hasn't even got a score. Just give me an assist, some chance creation. Do you know what I mean? Just grab the game a little bit. I'm lowering my bar. I don't even need a goal from him. I just need some performances. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. I think is it 18 games? I don't know how many games we played now. Like, I don't know how many games we played, but he's made one assist and one goal. And come on, one was a penalty which was given to us at Bournemouth when we was 3-0 up or 2-0 up or whatever it was. So
and the assist wasn't exactly a defence splitting pass either.
No, but he done well for that assist. We was talking about that yesterday. Like, he did do well for the, held the ball up. Well, I don't think anybody else would have been able to do that in the team, if I'll be honest. So look, listen, the jury's well and truly out for him at this moment in time. So, but we've won the game, and that's what matters. And I don't say he didn't contribute yesterday. I think that a lot of people are on his case straight away, aren't they? Even coming out yesterday, the question that I get all the time is, "What do you think of Kai Havertz? What do you think?" And so I feel that he must feel that pressure as well.
Oh, also, he's on 200k plus a week.
Yeah, I think we're lowering the bar.
Fans need to stop being so sensitive about this at times, because do I understand the whole mental health aspect? We don't need to keep bashing a player who's like trying to play himself into form. I defended him after Newcastle because I said, look, he gave me all the commitment and effort I could have hoped for from him, and he struggled in the final third. That's not a surprise. That we've seen that all season. I put that on Mikel. I don't put that on him. He is trying. I think he's a striker, and it's not just I've seen him in another position, and so I'm trying to put him into another one. All the good things I've seen from him have been up front. If you want to talk about a legitimately good performance he put in, it was the Community Shield up top. Hold up play was good, brought players into the game, got into goal scoring positions, fluffed some of those chances, but I don't care. At least he got himself into those positions. Movement was good. He was using his aerial ability. He was using his physicality. I liked it. And he does have a class on the ball that I think allows him to bring players into play, know where to turn. His first touch takes him to right area, whatever. He did that legitimately well up front. When he went up front against Palace late in the game, when he went up front against City in the home game, that is when I've been actually impressed. Not pity impressed, not he didn't do anything wrong and therefore he's improving. He actually looked good up front in that area. That's where I think his minutes should come, not ahead of Trossard, but if you're going to give him the minutes, we keep talking about needing a target man, different option up front. Maybe that's how you use him. We went long ball against Chelsea. He was up top. It did something for us, apparently. Now, where I say we need to not be so sensitive about it, though, is I do understand we don't need to after every game, especially if we've won and the guy hasn't really done much wrong. We don't always need to talk about him. I understand. But do you think Man City fans are sitting there with any one of those players in the squad and going, he was improved, wasn't he? But what does he do? No, like they're not saying about any of their players, and that's the bar. That's the standard, especially with the amount Arteta plays him and the amount Arteta paid for him. So
they did with Grealish, to be fair.
I don't think Grealish ever looked a player that they thought we should take him out of the team. They might have thought, where's the goals, where's the assists, run at your fullback more. He might have played it a little safe, but I don't think they ever thought. In fact, I remember them, staunchly defending him. Oh, you don't understand what he does in this system. And when he gets the ball and he hangs wide, his movement, he brings other, he makes space for other players. I don't even think we're saying that for Havertz. I think we're just saying we need more on the whole. And I really think he did one thing yesterday that I thought, this looks like centre forward play. He had his back to goal. He took a touch. He took a turn away from the defender, took it towards the touch line, came back inside. It was like legitimately good hold up play. He got the pass wrong at the end, but otherwise, like, it was like, okay, this looks like, sharp, bit of strength, bit of something. Give him minutes up front. I'm not sure he's looking. Would Vieira have done more, guys, in that midfield yesterday for you? Maybe not, but it's a legitimate question. I think he probably would have.
Yeah, I think he's more dynamic. He at least he wants the ball a bit more. That's the main thing for me. When I look at Kai, he doesn't want the ball in the key positions that I thought he would have thrived in. And don't say thrived in this. Listen, I've watched him at Chelsea, and I do a Big Six show twice a week, every week. So I know that Chelsea fans' opinions of him over the years, and it hasn't been the greatest as the months went past. So I wasn't expecting much, but not to want the ball, especially in a game yesterday where you had so much space and the pockets were there. And, like Jordan said, I'd like you to pull the strings. I said to you on the watch along yesterday, James, a goal doesn't save this performance. I mean, when you look at Sevilla and how open they was, what was needed wasn't a goal or an assist. Well, maybe an assist more than a goal. What was needed from Kai last night was to give us something to think about with Odegaard, to apply some creativity. So if Odegaard is playing poor, then we know Havertz can come in and do a job there. We didn't get any of that. So I know people are clamoring for this goal for him, but I know at the same time, a lot of the same people, once he gets that goal, will act like that goal means it's 8, 9 out of 10, and he's turning a corner. Turning a corner would be applying yourself more in games, and he is applying himself more physically in the last 2 games. I'll give him that. Hard tackles and running into man and using the height he has, I guess. But listen, we didn't buy a 65 million bulldozer in attacking midfield. We need to open some doors, unlock some fucking defenses, and he had the chance last night. But in my opinion, he didn't take it. I don't want to dwell on him either.
No, I agree, because I do actually like I really do like his attitude and commitment and all that. I really don't have a problem with that, and I always say that's the bare minimum. So I don't want to be a hypocrite when a player's doing nothing and then we resort to at least press, at least work hard for the show. Or no complaints on that front. We just need to find where we can get the best out of his somewhat languid approach, his commitment to aerial duels and a high press. But also, he does seem to do quite well with his back to goal, probably better than he does facing goal when he needs to pick out runners. So I'd move him up top, because I've actually been impressed with him there. But I thought on the other hand, though, another former Chelsea player, I know Jorginho got the mention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that pass, was sublime. He was really good all day, really, really good all game. I said in my fan cam, I don't know if I was sort of over-egging the souffle, is that saying, or have I done a side? But he... Here's one. Thank you, Jordan. When Saka was injured and he wanted to come off, he wanted to take the shortest route across the pitch, and the referee basically halted him and told him to go off the side. Jorginho took a yellow card, and he knew he was going to take a yellow card for basically, sort of charging at the ref and quite aggressively saying, what are you talking about? The guy's injured. And I know that's a really small thing, but I keep asking Arsenal players to stand up for their players, be a team, and especially whoever's wearing the armband to represent those players on the pitch and to come to their defense. I know it's a really small thing, But Bukayo Saka, it looks like he's landed badly on his ankle or knee, whatever he's done, jarred his knee, whatever it is he's done. And I quite like Jorginho in that moment as well as everything being very focused, very switched on, receiving the ball, giving and going, playing forward, playing back, playing sideways, doing everything, keeping things moving. I thought it was a very mature performance. And when people say, maybe Jorginho would be helpful in the Champions League, I think that sort of gets overdone sometimes. But I think if you ever going to get an example of that, that might have been it. It was a tempo that Arsenal and a Jorginho were going to like. They were going to control the game. But also, there was never a point in which Arsenal lost concentration. And I think him and Declan Rice epitomise that, because even the last 20 minutes where Sevilla have done nothing, they kept sweeping up. They kept supporting Gabriel Saliba. That call was incredibly focused. And they allowed nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Even if we didn't get that third and fourth and batter them, they said, cool, defensively, we're going to just see this out very, very comfortably. And I do think he was at the heart of that.
I'll tell you what was very good about Jorginho yesterday, I thought, was when he walked off, he went off round the other side of the ground. So he's gone past the Seville fans, first of all, and then got behind the clock end. And the whole clock end started, everybody standing on the, goes to the clock and they're all standing, aren't they? So, but they're getting a good clap and all that. But when he went round to the side, everybody was standing up and giving him a standing ovation. And I looked at that and I said to my mate Mark, I said, he's won the fans round. Not everybody was convinced about the signing when he signed in January. And to go around and get a standing ovation must have been a good thing for him as well. Do you know what I mean? To experience that. I thought that was very, very, and I'd imagine he enjoyed that walk. Do you know what I mean? Like he was clapping the fans and everything. I don't know if you see that on the TV, but he really was milking the moment, because I think it was a good moment.
But good on him, right? Really good on him, because I understand the questions around Jorginho, but let's have it right. Rice has played as the sixth. Partey would be starting with Rice in that box-to-box. So Jorginho's third in line. So I don't really have a problem with his ranking in the squad right now. Like, he's playing because Partey can't stay fit and no one's claimed that number 8 position. Jorginho is doing fine. Now, he's had performances like away at Villa, where he was fantastic. I know, that 4-2 win. I know we got the kind of last minute goal that ended up being an own goal, but in that game he was terrific. Newcastle away, but he's also demonstrated an attitude that I've really appreciated. To be at St James Park last year when we won 2-0 and talk about relishing the atmosphere. It's been such a long time since I've heard Arsenal players talk with a maturity on their heads and
he's a grown up,
an appetite for the big occasion. It's
he's
really nice.
Yeah,
he is a grown up. What a great way to put it. He's just a grown up, isn't he? And
in a team of youngsters, sorry to let you finish, but in a team of youngsters with energy and lots of excitement, you just need a couple of old men that kind of just are grown ups and just mature.
Yeah.
And they're not spectacular, but they kind of keep everybody in line. Do you know what I mean? That level of maturity.
Yeah.
You're right.
And you kind of got to know what to. Sorry, Turkish, go on.
He's not Lee's age, but he's only 30.
Yeah, it was a dig there. There's no need for that, was it?
I was thinking it, but for you to say it, that's low, Turkish. That's low.
I say what everyone thinks. That's my problem.
He's only
low as you can get.
I might as well add that I think a standing ovation is crazy for Jorginho last night, but hey, maybe I shouldn't have added that.
No, but I don't mind that. Comfortable night. He was very good on the game. In the game, he got the moment that sort of unlocked the team, and that's a moment where I don't mind. I don't mind the positivity being a bit overboard. I don't mind I don't expect the Arsenal fans to be sitting there going, "Yeah, you were good. I expect more of that." Wednesday night, Champions League action. The guy played a big part in it. And you've made him feel kind of love for it. I've got no,
I'm joking. Listen.
No, I know. But there's some people who will feel like, look, what did he really do?
It's just the way Lee described it. He went past the clock end, the fans rose, then he went past the fans rose in unison and all clapped. It just sounded like something out of a movie. I get it.
I'm not sure the fans are totally having him. And it'll be a couple of games from now. He'll make an error and they'll be like, you see, why have we got a Chelsea reject? He's crap. Why have we? So he had a good game yesterday and he deserves all the applause he got. But I'm a fan of his, by the way. But I know that in a few games' time, the fan base will flip on him again because he's ex-Chelsea, because he's not spectacular, because he's not young. So I think James is right. Whilst I think it's right that he got his adulation last night, he deserved it. I know that it'll be a few games before it goes the other way again, because that's what the fan base I generally feel towards him.
Not match-going fans. Match-going fans tend to be a lot, very supportive. That's why why when I hear things about confidence with players and I hear things about, get behind the team. Listen, Emirates for the last 2 years, at the very least, year and a half, 2 years, it's been the best ground in the country.
It wasn't yesterday, though, Turkish. It weren't rocking yesterday.
Nah, yeah.
There's been a different energy at the Emirates this season. It's not been as good. I'm going to say it's not been as good as, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why it is, because the football may be a little bit more, what's the word? You're engrossed in the football a little bit more. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But the atmosphere is not like it was last season.
Well, look, great football gets you off your feet and it gets you loud. You see moments, you go, oh, and you're getting all excited because things are happening. Arsenal aren't doing that as much this season at all. Tottenham got standing ovation for a 4-1 defeat. Why? Because the first 15 minutes were really good and they were brave. Please don't think that I'm running that narrative, by the way. I think it's ridiculous. But they were exciting and front-footed and unlucky. And look, to a degree, I understand their fans applauding the effort. I do, and it's not for me to tell Tottenham fans who and what they should applaud. But what I'm saying is Arsenal aren't this season playing the kind of football that is making you want to kind of get off your feet. But it feels like it's got a real long game perspective on it. It feels like, you guys talk about the defensive structure. See what happened in midweek. Let's talk before the Tottenham red cards. Chelsea had chances, actually. Chelsea, the handball disallowed goal for Sterling, and Chelsea was starting to play a little bit. After weathering a really difficult first 10, they started to play. Arteta would never in a million years want that. Now, there's no right or wrong. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but he would, at the moment, it's looking like he doesn't want that lung-busting, like, all-action first 10, 15 minutes if it means that you're going to look quite vulnerable the other way. And it does seem a theme of this season that Arsenal just aren't playing the kind of football that is going to make the Emirates roar and jump up when they win a corner because some great move has resulted in it or whatever. It does feel like everything's just a little bit more measured right now in everything we do, in the loudness of the fans, in the attacking football, in the relentless press, in everything. But again, like we touched on this in a previous podcast, I think his theory is that long term, that's going to just yield better results.
The most important stats back that up, and by most important, I don't mean field tilt and XG and all that. I mean
field tilt.
Yeah, I know. It's 8 a.m. shows, man. This is what happens. I tell people, let's not do 8, but here we are. The stats back it up in terms of the goals conceded.
These 8 a.m. shows. I mean, why don't we just record at normal time? See, the 8 a.m.
Yeah. Most people are working now. Like, getting to work up, but no, I don't want to do 8 a.m. I don't want to do these shows no more. I still want to do a bit.
It's either that or midnight, where we're delirious and tired, and someone's drunk because he's been Tollington. Someone's, just.
I would have loved to have done it. I would have loved to have done the 12 late one last night. I was on it last night,
Yeah, fair enough.
Is this one top right? He's the one that stops it. He wants his cozy time at midnight. Yeah.
Listen, I got a job to do in the day. So you guys have the luxury of working for a fantastic fan channel. I've got to go and lift up stuff and pick up stuff and
lift up your mic and put it on the desk and talk on radio.
Yeah, lifted. Do you know what I mean? It's hard labor out here.
Watching highlights. I don't want to be in your shoes, mate.
No. It's got chocolate delivered to him in the morning,
But James, does the stats back it up in terms of goals conceded so far this season? 11 games in, and it can league year on year comparison. Maybe something to look at.
I haven't checked in a while, but if you fancy the old XG chat, we're looking pretty good on that. But you know what? Let's not even do stats. I mean, the eye test tells me that unless we've made a mistake and put it in the back of our own net, or we seem to have not quite had the rub of the green from officials, we've been pretty good at the very good at the back. I mean, you know, it's funny because you could look at the Man City game where they had 2 big chances in the first 5 minutes, but after that point, we did so well to nullify them. And Tottenham, who came to the Emirates, and everyone praised that performance, me included. I thought they were very mature and played some really good football. But how much of their football resulted in David Raya doing a lot of work? Yeah, 2 or 3 chances, probably more worked in that game than some others, but very little. Yeah. And that definitely has been a figure of our play. You know, I know we went 1-0 down to Marcus Rashford. I know Garnacho, you know, by this much, you know, nearly won them the game. But the fine margins went our way, but they were earned from the fact that we stopped them doing anything in that game. Now, the questions about what we're doing, on the other hand, is fair enough, but I cannot begrudge what the back four and what the team as a defensive structure are doing. Declan Rice is playing on another planet. Like, for me, he's world class because give me a stage he hasn't done it on. All of last season, I was hearing, you know, Bukayo Saka's not world class because he hasn't done it on the Champions League stage. Realizing that actually a lot of the teams who play in the Champions League aren't that good. So I'm not really sure why that was the standard. But you know, Declan Rice, cool, he's doing it in the Champions League. First season, by the way, doing it. No nerves, walking it, Sevilla away, loving it. He's playing as a 6, he's playing as an 8. He's doing it at home to Man City, he's doing it away at Newcastle. Wherever you ask him to do, he's doing it for England. He's got to World Cup quarters and Euro finals. Like, I don't know. I mean, what more does Declan Rice have to do apart from do it over several years for Arsenal and deliver the big trophies? But that's also dependent on the team. He is doing his thing.
I think just to your point about, you know, the stats may back up that we are conceding less chances, but that's impacting potentially us creating more chances, goes to the comment of the week that I read last week where the guy was mentioning, is it possible to have the energy and the pressing and the chance creation and the excitement that we had last season mixed with the control and the defensive improvement of this season? And I'm not so sure the two can mix. I think you have to sacrifice one for the other. And I think Mikel Arteta said last week on the pod that I think he's deduced that this way, albeit less exciting to watch, is going to give him a better chance of ultimately winning the title than last season's tactics. And we'll see, right? Well, you know, end of the season, we'll see which one was more successful. You know, if you concede less chances, but you create less chances, are you then backing your forwards then to take the few chances that you create to win more games? If you ensure that, worst case, you don't concede more than 2 goals in a game. So I'm keen to see how this plays out because it's not as exciting to watch. And I think that kind of plays to Turkish's point about the lack of fluidity in the team. But if it means that, and we'll check this, if the stats say that actually we're conceding less goals and less chances, then I'm for it because I'm a big believer in defenses win leagues, goals win games. So we'll see.
Ben White attacked down the flank a lot more yesterday. He overlapped a lot more. That I noticed that. Like, you know, I also think that maybe, you know, we're conserving a bit of energy. I know that sounds silly at this moment in time because we have all these games as well. Like, we've obviously played yesterday. 48 hours. We're playing again. So, you know, perhaps we're trying to conserve energy with the way we're playing. And I think also like the likes of Partey not playing and that does help us in those areas as well. Like, you know, obviously Odegaard's not there. But I do think that Arsenal will I think they revert a little bit more to it once the Champions League's finished. I do. I think that when they're playing back in the Premier League, I think that you'll see a little bit of a change. I don't think these games I don't think need to be underestimated about how difficult they are. I'm not saying like, you know, we look at it, they're difficult. It's just that you cannot say, right, I'm going to rest 5 or 6 players, because you will get exposed and you will get done. You have to, even though we're winning these games, you're still having to play a strong side, and other teams are picking up. It's no coincidence. Look at the injuries that Newcastle have got, Manchester United have got, Arsenal have got, because of the Champions League, because you can't rotate as much as you probably wish that you could. But I thought yesterday I see a little slight change in it a little bit there. I did see Ben White going forward a little bit. Shinchenko went into midfield, and I know we was winning at that stage, but we could have been a little bit more conservative. We wasn't. So I do see that there was a slight change yesterday. And I do think that what I liked about Mikel yesterday is I think he come out of that outburst a little bit to cover up a few things, but also to galvanise everything. And he's had probably a look at it and thought, you know what, we just need to be a little bit more open, a little bit more of this. And I thought we see that yesterday, especially against teams that you should be beating. I wasn't that impressed with Seville, to be honest, yesterday. I was more impressed with them the away game, but they had players missing, a lot of injuries, so even in Spain, which is supposed to be as not as competitive league, they're still picking up injuries, so I think there is something in that. But I felt that Ben White yesterday, I've been critical of Ben White in the last couple of games, back to what he was doing last season, helping out Saka. And by the way, when Saka went through, you talk about Champions League and is he good enough? I had no doubts he was not going to score that goal when he was through there. That's the class of the player. You know what I mean? That I knew he was going to score, So there were some good things yesterday. I have to say, some things there yesterday that I can get behind and think, Arsenal's not on their way back. It's a bit harsh, but I see signs of us looking a lot better yesterday. I know you can go on about opposition, but I've seen us play poor opposition and not look so good. So I felt it was good yesterday.
Yeah. Turkish, can we just make a quick point to the pod we're doing during the international break? I think it's worth us having a chat around injuries, and I think that if you look at across the Premier League and across Europe, as Lee's saying, the amount of clubs that have got so many injuries, I think is a talking point. I personally think it's the COVID season and the backlog catching up. Lots of tournaments and competitions, both domestic and international, in like 6 years. The amount of football they're playing is a lot. And I think the reason why I think it's worth us discussing is because it's impacting our team as well and our best players, and the likes of Saka, who we're seeing limping off. I know he's young and all that, but I just think it's worth us talking about the amount of injuries that are generally happening, but also Mikel Arteta's management of those players. Because I find it fascinating how he refuses to take off Saka or refuse to rest him in any game. Like, I want to win this group as soon as possible, but even I have to concede there are some games where, bro, you can take him off a little bit earlier. You can manage him a little bit better. So I think there might be a chat for another pod when we can about the management of players who and their time and the injuries that we're picking up. Look at every Premier League side. They've all got like not 2 or 3 injured players. They've all got like City, United, Chelsea, Spurs, and I just don't think it's a coincidence that teams across Europe have got like big groups of players out at the same time.
Do you know what?
I could be wrong.
I'm going to make a point about that because my mate brought this up the other day. And I just want to see how you feel about it. VAR, is that impacting on injuries? Because my mate was a Spurs fan. He said, like, that VAR decision took 3 or 4 minutes, players standing around in the cold and whatever, like, and then all of a sudden, the player pulls a hamstring. Could that be something to do with it? Like, I don't know. I think I had a bad point. I looked at it and I thought, oh, yeah. You standing around for I don't know how long on decisions, and then like so as soon as it's given, you got straight back on it and all that, like, and then straight away pulling hamstrings and things like that. Well, I don't know.
With high level sport, I do think I don't think it takes a lot. These players are so highly strung, like they're so kind of in such imperfect shape, which weirdly I think makes you more susceptible to it. Like,
it does.
I don't know how to explain.
We know this.
Like, it sounds really weird, but this is not scientific fact, but I just have a feeling that like me, a bit of a slob who doesn't, didn't bother stretching before a match. If I attempted the same turn and spin, and sprint, as a player, there's probably less chance of me pulling a hamstring or something, because this might not make any sense. I might be talking shit, but because I'm I don't have strong muscles that are finely tuned and trained or whatever. Whereas I feel like these players are they're in such perfect shape, but for whatever reason, I feel like that makes them more vulnerable. Does anyone else feel
Yeah,
that?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but
No,
I don't know.
you. I get you.
It's weird.
And there's part of it is a lot, but football's gone soft as well. That's part of it too. I think so. You know what? When we discuss it on one of the pods, I'm gonna look at the amount of I don't know how to kind of measure it, but injuries pre-sports science era and injuries after sports science era, and I want to see, because if it does feel like there's a lot more injuries in this era now than there was in the 90s and 2000s to me. But the football
what you're saying is
then,
get on with it.
huh?
What you're saying is get on with it. They should be playing.
More often than not, I mean, listen, if someone's injured, they're injured. People can be injured, but sometimes it's a knock or it's you're feeling away. I mean, back then, players would play through a lot of knocks and bruises and lumps and bumps and all of this stuff. So I don't know. Something to look into. Maybe Jordan's right. Maybe we discuss that on another pod. But we are 51 minutes in, and we've still got. I was about to say talk about the Burnley game, but what is there to talk about? We just have to welcome them, turn them over, and send them packing back before international break. I think.
Eddie.
You were talking to Laurie or something?
Oh, this game's prime for Eddie, but I heard he's injured.
Yeah,
I heard he's injured.
He's got a knock.
He should be all right for the weekend, I reckon. They were saying.
I'll be really disappointed if he drops Trossard.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, if Eddie's going to score against teams, it's going to be the Burnleys of the world. So,
be interested. Do you think that if Eddie's fit here, bring him back? I think that he will.
He shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree, James.
I don't really have a preference, if I'm being honest. I don't really mind.
Yeah, it's not really a big deal. Just bring me Jesus back in this team, for goodness sake. Jesus, please take some.
Well, I was more thinking Eddie Nketiah or Trossard. They should both score past Burnley. Do you know what I mean? Whoever plays should score, really.
Yeah, do you know that's a great point, Turkish. If Jesus is fit, I don't want to see him Saturday. I don't want to see him.
Oh yeah.
Even if he said if he knocks on Arteta's door and says I'm fit, I'll say thank you very much for that. We'll see you after the international break. I want him building himself up and everything like that. I don't want him the case that it might be a chance for him to go to Brazil or whatever. No, I don't want to see him. I don't have to. Been mentioned yet, is it? Has it been named yet?
What?
Brazil squad, has that been named?
He's in it.
He's in it. But,
what, Jesus is in it? Right, he needs to be pulled out of that.
Yeah, he does.
So, fingers crossed, we'll see.
How great that this is the last international break, can I say? I'm not saying this as an excuse for Arsenal, because it's true for every team, but just this kind of stop-start nature of the Premier League, when you get it back, you wait so long, it's back. And then, Nations League and Euro qualifiers and friendlies. It's like, leave me alone. I don't care. It's quite nice that we're going to have a decent run. And look, our international breaks have been quite well timed. Beating Man United, sitting on that for 2 weeks. Beating Man City, sitting on that for 2 weeks. I've not minded them this time. But it does feel like, let's just build momentum. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, because last season we didn't have the international breaks like that because of the World Cup. The season before, I think, might have been normal, but then the season before that started late because of lockdown football. So that wasn't affected in the same way. So it's taking a little bit of getting used to having the international breaks quite the way we're having them normally.
It's been all over the gap. Usually it's 2 international breaks, I think, at the first half of the season. This year is 3, but last year it was 1 because of the World Cup. So a bit of an adjustment period. But Burnley, I mean,
I thought it was always 3, but anyway.
What do we? I'm not even going to talk about what we want to see against Burnley. What we want to see is goals fly in and a clean sheet. I think that's comfortable to say. Anyone in particular want to raise anything for this?
No, just get, dispatch them. It means do what we've done in the last, to Sheffield United. Do exactly the same as what we've done to Burnley.
No dirty sheets. I expect no goals to come from Burnley. That's what I want. I want a performance. I really want a performance. Let's go into the break. As James was saying, bouncing again. We need a run. We haven't really put a run together this season. We need to kind of put a run together. So let's make sure that the Seville game is the start of a run, because I think going into a hectic period in ahead of the Christmas period now, we need to see this team kind of getting into the groove now. Hopefully we'll have some players back after the break. But I want to see a run. I think it's got to start from yesterday, but continue on the weekend. This shouldn't be a game that poses us any problems. Burnley are on the floor. Vincent Kompany is really struggling. This isn't the Burnley of Sean Dyche where they sit in, they're looking for set pieces, they're going to be physical. This is a Vincent Kompany Burnley where they want to play football. They want to come out. They want to actually test themselves. And I kind of rate that to some degree, but equally that should play into our hands. So this shouldn't actually be a difficult game for Arsenal, if I'm being honest. Let's not be complacent. We've done this before. Oh, we should win this game, and then we're doing the pod the week after and we've dropped points. So let's not be disrespectful. But if you want to win a title, ...
Just a reminder, we're also available on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, all of that. You can find us there too. They pretty much come at the same time. Sometimes they come out earlier on the podcast platforms. Sometimes it's earlier here. We keep you guessing. Subscribe here, follow us there, hit the like button, get it over 1,000 people. Prediction table time. Big smile on Lee's face.
I think who's at the bottom and all.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah, not much to say. All right, cool.
No.
Let's do it for the audio listeners on the podcast platforms. So, what is that? 18 games? Yep. Out on the table, I should know. 18 games played, 18 predictions made. In first place, we have. In second place, we have Jordan with 1 correct score, 12 points. Third place, we have myself, 11 points, 2 correct scores. And in fourth place is James, 1 correct score, also 11 points. So there's only 2 points separating top from bottom.
Kai Havertz, man. Oh.
If you needed any more reason to not be impressed, there it is. Lee, I think for the first time this season, please kick us off with the predictions.
Oh, I have. Yeah. It's been a while. It's
first and last.
It's listen. You've been wanting to get the top for 2.5 years. You got there for 3 days. Don't start like that. I mean, and you're off with it, 3 days. It's the worst rain ever. Unbelievable. Let's leave this to the proper boys. I am going Arsenal 4, Burnley 0.
Jordan.
5-1 Arsenal.
5-1 Arsenal. Interesting. 3-0. James.
2-0.
So everyone's gone for something different. Everyone's gone for Arsenal wins, but different scorelines. Just to round that off, Lee's gone 4-0. Jordan's gone 5-1. I've gone 3-0. James has gone 2-0. That is the predictions for this week. Remember, let us know in the comments below what your predictions are, thoughts, lineups, all of that. Is there any talking points you need? And we move on to comments of the day. Are we all ready?
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh.
Don't be stupid. I've been up since 6:30. I've got my commitment a day.
Everyone good, yeah? Cool. Let's go, Lee. Go on, since you're so ready there, top of the league.
I've gone for this one here because I think sometimes it's good that other fans get involved. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm completely addicted to this podcast. So let's make it clear. My diary on a Monday, every chance I get, I can listen to this podcast with no disturbances. That's fantastic. Big up Turkish, James, Lee and Jordan, who watches the highlights.
That's the one exactly I've taken from the.
Yeah, like it's unreal because I think because it's from different fans and everything. You expect it from the Arsenal fans, of course, but yeah, I really like that one. So that's the one I'm with. Van Dijk or Van Dyke or Vandy Dyke or whatever, you know what I mean?
Van Dijk. The guy's name is Van Dijk.
He's obviously using a bit of the old Van Dijk in his thing, but why can't you just give your real name? No, just why not? But there you go.
Right, you know what? I've got another one from Chris Fraser here. He says Turkish is light goes out. Jordan dropping his camera. Let's be honest, this is why we watch the podcast.
Professionals we are.
Guys,
I got a couple. I've got one here from Roy Hodgson 165. 165.
Roy, how is he?
Yeah. Lee with some wise words. We don't miss Xhaka. Literally the next sentence. The reason why we miss Saka.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then I got one here from Samuel Corbo, 12. The fact that Turkish was nodding his head at what Jordan was saying, as if he could hear him, although he was on mute, was too damn funny. That made me laugh as well.
take the opportunity.
I'll watch that back.
No, that was good. That was.
That's me.
Just a very simple, nice words. Another brilliant, mesmerizingly memorable podcast. Subconsciously on point as always.
Who's that from?
Deadly Palm.
Subconsciously on point.
Mr. Prick.
Mesmerizingly memorable.
I love it.
Thank you for the day, people. As always, thank you. We always go through them. We always pick one out at the end of every show. We give our comment to the day. So big up everyone engaging with the show. Big up everyone that makes the show what it is. Guys, girls, hit the like button. We're going to pretty much wrap it up here. We're just past the hour. And we move on to Burnley. We'll be back after the Burnley game. But like I said, it's international break. Make sure you subscribe. There's other things coming out. And love for the love people. Jordan, Lee, James, any last words? Anything that we haven't touched in on?
No.
All good.
Just waiting for Jordan to pick up his camera and start sort of,
I was about to as well.
dismantling
I was about to as well.
Like,
Yeah. I'll wait.
Start running for his bus while the podcast is still going.
Just running around the streets.
Let's hope that's what he's doing.
All right, James, Lee, Jordan's missus who made a nice entry today.
Yeah.
Big up everyone involved. Big up everyone watching. Big up everyone that's hit the like button, and big up everyone that's about to hit the like button. Love for the love, people. We'll be back after the Burnley game. You know where to find us right here. Make sure you subscribe. Notification bell on. Love for the love. We're out. Peace.